The Leiden Collection was not built by faceless art advisors. It was built painting by painting. The fact that the paintings were acquired in such an intimate way and a personalized way means that every painting has a story. And after hundreds of years of other people buying this art in advance of our own entry into the field, a museum quality collection.
This presentation of the Leiden Collection is unique because it's here in the United States. The Leiden Collection sees itself as a lending library for old master paintings, and we send these paintings all over the world. We've had exhibitions in Asia, in Russia, in the Middle East, but this is the first time there's been a display of this scale in the US, and it's incredibly exciting. One thing that's really special about the Leiden Collection is that you get an idea of this whole artistic world of the Netherlands in the 17th century and the exchanges among the artists, the visual language that they were both speaking but then also always pushing forward into new innovations. The Leiden Collection, because it does have so many works from artists that have these interrelationships, you're really able to explore the depth of the art at this period.
Rembrandt is a force of nature. We have 17 Rembrandts in the collection. I would absolutely urge a visitor to stand in front of all of them. We have his earliest signed work. We have his smallest painting. We have representations of himself through a fabulous self-portrait. We have images of everything from daily life to the most important history painting of the artist in private hands. The painting of Minerva, the goddess of wisdom and war, is, some would describe, the Mona Lisa of our collection. He felt that the greatest ambition, the greatest aspiration of an artist was not necessarily portraiture. It was what was called history paintings. A name that effectively says those things which hark back to antiquity, mythology, the Bible, those things which represented the quintessence of intellectual supremacy. And thus, in that respect, the Minerva is the most important example of Rembrandt's history paintings in private hands, and one of the most important examples in his entire body of work.
I think Rembrandt's art has stood the test of time for a number of reasons. On the one hand, it's so technically beautiful, you can't help but be attracted to it. And another point, he did many different things over the course of his career. He did portraits, he did history paintings, he did oil sketches. But really, I think the secret, or maybe the not so secret reason for Rembrandt's lasting power is that emotional connection that viewers across time, across geography feel to so many of his paintings. Rembrandt, in many ways, is the heart of the Leiden Collection and the heart of this exhibition, but it's also this amazing opportunity to experience works by many of his students. I think one fascinating comparison is to see works by his first student, Gerrit Douw, who he worked with in his hometown of Leiden, who went on to, again, do these very finely painted, delicate, small-scale works. But then you can also look at Rembrandt's last student, Art de Gelder, who painted in Rembrandt's broader style, the looser expressionistic brushwork. And you can see instances where he's even using the back of the paintbrush to almost carve into these thick swaths of paint. So to see how Rembrandt inspired his pupils, taught his pupils to go in these radically different directions, this exhibition is an absolutely wonderful opportunity to see that variation and the different directions that Rembrandt students went. The Vermeer painting in this exhibition is so incredibly special in part because of its rarity. There are only 30-something Vermeers in the entire world, and this is the only one that's still in a private collection.
When it came into our possession, I realized that this is really one of the great treasures of the old master's world. The subject of this painting, which was certainly one of the last paintings that Vermeer painted, is absolutely sublime. Just the way that she looks back at you and you can hear the note that she's playing, pure magic. This painting has always been on loan. It's a favorite all over the world, and it really does take my breath away. I love that we're here, and I love that we are working with such a fabulous team. Having done my first walkthrough of the exhibition, admittedly, I think it's fabulous. It is a knockout. It does huge justice to the art of the period and make this certainly one of the most exquisite exhibitions that we've held in many of the most prestigious museums on the planet.